Well, hello. Welcome to another episode of Bucket List Coach Web Show Live. Yak 110, baby. Woo!
Can you hear me?
Wow, one of my best shows of the year. So this is Cindy, your host over at Bucket List Coach Web Show Live. So my show is all about making the most of the dash. So we have the day that we're born and the day that we pass away. What are you doing in between that time? And if you're here on YouTube at Bucket List Coach Web Show Live, you subscribe to the page, you comment, and you share either to Facebook or LinkedIn. I'll gift you a 5-night hotel stay anywhere around the world. I have many destinations to choose from. And so, just to let you know that November is National Aviation History Month. Make sure that you tune back. We have F-14 pilots. We got radar intercept officers. We have amazing guests, and I'm sure Jeff will be back for that as well. But today, more importantly, Jeff, the Yak 110 Pacific Air Show starts on Friday to Sunday. Let's go into your story. Can you hear me? We might be frozen here. Well, let's go into the video real quick on the Yak 110.
For a full calendar of where the Yak 110 will be performing this year, check out our website at airshowstuff.com. Hey, wait, who's flying that thing?
Thank you to Airshow Stuff. Make sure that you follow them on YouTube, also Bucket List Coach Web Show, and the Yak 110. Right on. In Thrust, we trust. How are you, Jeff? So are we frozen again? So we'll wait for him to come back, and then we'll talk about this weekend's air show. So make sure that you check out the yak110.com, also pacificairshow.com. So we're going to get him back on video. And there you are. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Sorry for the horrible internet connection here. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes. So let's talk about the history of the Yak 110, two Soviet 55s.
That's right. Yep. We had a Yak 55 that I first flew in 2004 was the blue side. And then right after that, I purchased the red airplane, 955 Sierra Foxtrot. So both those airplanes have been in the family, if you will, since about 2004. And then I moved on in my aerobatic career and started working with different airplanes along the way. But I kept the Yak because I knew there'd be a great purpose for the airplane. And of course, you know, the idea for the Yak 110 came in about 2009, and we brought the two airplanes together for the first time in 2016.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
So if anybody wants to make a comment on Facebook, go to streamyard.com/Facebook so we can recognize your name. You could also find us live on YouTube at Bucket List Coach Web Show Live. So let's talk all about the upcoming air shows that you have coming for the rest of this year. And also we'll go more into the Pacific Air Show. Can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry about
Okay.
that.
Oh, no worries.
I'm doing the best I can here. Sorry.
So what's the schedule for the rest of the year?
Well, we're very fortunate to be here at the Huntington Beach for our second to last show. This is a great way to kind of wrap up our season between this and the Pensacola Air Show coming up in November. Huntington Beach, of course, is our absolute favorite of the year. Kevin Elliott is just a superstar. And then, as you know, he's branching out next year. He's going to be in Australia. And we're really hoping the Yak 110 will be in Australia next year as well. What an incredible lineup we have this weekend. And we're super excited to be flying with Rad Air Sports, the Jet Waco this year at this show and at NAS Pensacola, the Blue Angel homecoming there. So this weekend, you're going to get to see the two one-of-a-kind airplanes, the Jet Waco flying alongside will be me in the Yak 110. It's really going to be awesome.
And coming hot, Yak 110. So let's talk about the Yak 110, how it all started, and where you're at right now, and how many years. So I first seen you at the Sacramento Air Show, I believe, was it 16 or 17?
That would have been 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our first year on Airshow Circuit. We did Mountain Home to start with in Sacramento. Thanks to Dennis Dunbar, what a fantastic guy he was to believe in the Yak 110, because that was the thing at the beginning. You have all these different airshow acts, they're flying at extra or Stearmans or things that people understand. And when you have a Yak 110, the initial thought is, wait a second, this is too far out there. In fact, to get the very first airshow was not easy. We had to convince people pretty hard to be the first show to bring in this brand new airplane. And because it was so different, it really took a lot of arm bending, if you will. But after the first show, of course, we were at our next show 2 weeks later because they called and said, hey, we heard you had this most amazing thing. You need to be at our show. And so we've been off and running ever since.
So we have a question. Why the Yak 110? How did you come up with the idea?
I saw my Yak 55, the red side, sitting on the ramp next to another Yak 55. And the way they were sitting on the ramp from a distance, it looked like one airplane. And I'm like, all right, I've got an idea. It took me a long time to actually make it happen because, you have a lot of ideas. Everyone has ideas, but to make it actually come to fruition is the hard part. That's the magic trip. And we did it by, just being persistent and then ultimately getting hooked up with Chad Barty from the Fat Tire Cowboys fame. He's an incredible dude. Anyways, I called him. I'm like, hey man, I want to take your old Yak 55 and my Yak 55 and combine them together and then add a jet engine on it. And he said, man, you're crazy. And I said, yeah, probably, but wouldn't it be cool? And so he went off to the happy hour with his buds. And later on that night, actually, he called me back. He said, man, I'm 100% in. Let's do this. It's going to be incredible. And from that point, we put the two airplanes in the hangar less than 6 weeks after that phone call. And Del Collar with Eddie Sauerman, and they just killed it. All the engineering that went into that center section to bring the two airplanes together was quite a lengthy process. In fact, that was the longest part of the whole build, was just getting the engineering done to be able to bring them together. Once we got all the engineering drawings, then we sent it to the CNC machine, and they just started grinding parts out of billet aluminum, and Del put it together pretty quickly after that.
So we have a comment. Do you see below you?
Oh yeah, double take. Craig Hodgkins, and he was actually in Caldwell where the airplane was being built, and he called me. He's like, "Hey man, are you guys around? I really want to see that airplane." Because double take, I watched him fly at Oshkosh. It's such a cool idea. When you have something unusual or unique, it's everyone loves it. I mean, that's what everyone's looking for. What can be different? And there's nothing different than a Yak 110 or the Pitts flying upside down for a landing, or the Jet Waco, all one-of-a-kind airplanes that are very great tools for someone like me that loves to go to an air show and inspire the next generation of young pilots. And it happens every day. I mean, I'm nonstop inspiring and trying to teach the next generation of kids where to go, what next steps to take to not just get into aerobatics, but get into the airline industry. I fly Airbus 320s for my day job, and to have young people coming into the to aviation is really important, because there's, it's tough even in the airline right now. There's a lot of need for pilots. So it gives me a great opportunity with such a unique airplane to be at a lot of really big air shows and go and meet a lot of young kids and really try to get them excited about flying airplanes.
So let's talk about the show this weekend. What's the schedule for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? Are you flying at a particular time, or what's the schedule?
I'm working with the guys on that. They're trying to work me into a teaser after Circle the Parachute Jumpers at the beginning of the show, and then of course near the end of the show will be the Jet Waco and me flying in the Yak 110. We do a 2-ship formation thing this year. So with any luck, I'm going to get to fly twice this weekend, which is really cool. It's such a cool venue. The beach is just so beautiful. So many people. I remember last time I flew there, Saturday of last year, there had to have been 2 million people at the beach. It was just absolutely incredible. And from a performer standpoint, to look down at the venue and see that many people, it's just really incredible. And right over the water also, just really, really cool to do that.
Yes, and it's one for, as you know, what I always talk about, the plane porn bucket list. And the Yak 110, it definitely is doing that for so many of us. And so let's talk about the engine in this beautiful airplane.
Yeah, so we're actually looking for a spare engine. They're so reliable. This one that we have in here now is a J85 from T-38 from a military trainer airplane.
Okay.
And in the civilian world, it's called a CJ610, and it's used on Lear 24s. Of course, Lear 24s, for the most part, don't fly around in our skies anymore because of noise abatement. Those engines are very, very loud, which is, for an air show, is awesome. It's a very small engine, but it packs a powerful punch. That CJ610/J85 puts out about 3,000 pounds of thrust, and the engine itself only weighs 450 pounds. So it's a pretty small package with a lot of power. And between the 3 engines on the Yak 110, I've got about 6,000, a little over 6,000 pounds of thrust. And the airplane with me in it for the air show weighs 4,800 pounds. So that's a really good combination. When I get to show center and I just hover the airplane and from 0 airspeed, continue to climb straight up and then do a hammerhead or a double hammerhead or whatever, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty cool to have that much power. I'm laughing every single time. I'm just sitting in a hover, looking at the airspeed reading 0 and altitude, just sitting there at about 1,500 feet, and then slowly climbing out from there. It really is. Sometimes we call it cartoon aerobatics because it just doesn't look real.
Well, let's watch a quick video. Remember this one? Hold on. Pull it up. That's Sacramento.
Yeah. Look at that, beautiful. Look at all the boats out there. So cool. And that's the other thing about the Yak. It's just so unique. And I left the fuselage as 2 different colors, just original as we could leave them, because I wanted it to look like 2 airplanes flying very close formation until you really get a close look. Go, wait a second, that's just 1 airplane. And of course, with 2 engines making all that smoke in the air show world, if you have a big airplane, which the Yak 110 is a quite large airplane for doing unlimited aerobatics like I do, and then you have all the smoke generating out of the M14 engines and the noise, of course, out of the J85. It's got all the right combination for making a great air show.
So let's talk about some shout outs. So let's shout out to Kevin here at the Pacific Air Show first. What do you like to say about them? I'm sorry, Miss. Oh, a big shout out to Pacific Air Show. What do you like to say about
Kevin Elliott? Kevin Elliott's my hero. I mean, I met Kevin when he was brand new coming into this air show. When he started taking over, and it was great actually for me as a performer when an organizer is coming to you and asking you questions about how to make this all happen. and trying to do the best I can to guide. We see a lot of air shows, but I've never organized one or put one on, so I'm pretty limited in my knowledge of that side of the world. But it was cool to collaborate with Kevin, and we've had a great relationship ever since. And he's done things that I think the entire air show industry is like, wait a second, man, this guy. I mean, there are no sides of the box. I mean, he's so far outside of
Awesome.
thinking of how the air show industry works. And I mean, what did we have? I think we had 4 jet teams here once, at least 3. And he just keeps pressing on. And now we're going to go to Australia. I'm hoping the Yak will be there for that. And he's just really, really knocking it out of the park. Kevin, he's a hero for sure.
Well, let's talk about Dick. He actually came on my show, I think 3 or 4 times this year over at Wisconsin, which is actually the largest air show in America. Let's kind of talk about a big plug to them as well.
And who is that?
Dick, he's with Oshkosh Air Show. He's been there over 20 years. Yeah. So he usually comes on my podcast, like starting in November, and then every 2 months he'll give me some updates.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
This year.
Yeah. I didn't actually get to fly Oshkosh this year, not because I didn't want to, but because I was actually representing the United States at the World Aerobatic Championships over in Poland, of all places. So I was in Poland for 3 weeks, and so I didn't get to go to Oshkosh this year, but I'm certainly hoping to be back next year. It's such a special place to fly an air show because the people there, they're all aviation nuts, and they know when you have a one-of-a-kind airplane, and they really respect that. And to, a long time ago when I was, let's see, about 1999, when Jimmy Franklin, who first invented the Jet Waco, he was flying the air show for the first time with the airplane. I watched it. And I said, man, that is, I mean, everyone's dying in laughter and tears. And if you would have told me that day that someday I would be flying a Jet Waco at Oshkosh, I would have never believed it in a million years. And there I was in 2014, 15, flying a Jet Waco at Oshkosh. And then after that, to get to fly something that was my idea and that we brought together to also then get to fly at Oshkosh. It's just really, really special.
And what other air shows would you like to shout out today?
NAS Pensacola, the Blue Angel Homecoming, November 11, 12, mostly because that's the one that I get to finish my year on. And that's a special air show for me too. I had there's a Jet Waco story at Pensacola when my grandma passed away. I was there at the air show, and I was the only one that got to fly because it was one of those foggy days, and the fog moved apart just for me to fly the air show and then land. Nobody else flew that entire day. And I thought it was really cool because someone grabbed a picture of the airplane and won a photo contest that day with me flying the airplane. Very, very cool. But so it's a special place for me, but I know to finish my year there is going to be really spectacular.
Awesome. So I had to run a little bit short today because I have a lot to get ready for the air show. But this is a part of the show where I like to pay it forward. So wait, we got one more. Oh, we got another question before we go into that. Who are your mentors and heroes?
Oh, it goes back a long time. I first went to Oshkosh in 2000. Yeah, right. Back in the 70s. I was only about 7 years old, and to see Charlie Hillard, Art Scholl, to watch those guys, Leo Lauensauger, I mean, it really was impactful to the point where I was obsessed with it from that point on, and to be one of those people now where people mention, hey, the Yak 110 has got me excited about flying airplanes, and now I do my best to try and mentor people coming into the business or coming into aviation just in general, whatever they want to do in aviation. It's cool to have that opportunity now. And Cindy, I do appreciate it. This is my second opportunity to come and talk with you on the Bucket List Coach web show. It's just been an honor to be someone that you reached out to come in and talk about bucket list stuff, and especially, right here in Huntington Beach, it is a bucket list air show. I've got at least 25 people in my gang that are coming from around the United States. In fact, a friend of mine from Australia to come here. So this is a bucket list air show. There is no question about it. And thank you for hosting such a great show and having me on. I appreciate it.
So this is Cindy over at Bucket List Coach Web Show Live, going on for the last 4 years and making a difference in aviation and bucket listing. And today I want to introduce you to the pilot of the Yak 110, Jeff. Make sure that you check it out at yak110.com. Also, you want to follow on Instagram, and you want to subscribe to YouTube as well as Facebook. And this weekend, the end of September, every single year, you definitely want to tune in and check out the Yak 110 and many amazing aviation bucket lists here in Huntington Beach. So anything else that you want to shout out before we close out?
No, I mean, as always, I like to thank my sponsors. I mean, I've got Lift Aviation providing me with a brand new, actually, I'm going to pick it up today, a brand new helmet that I get to try this weekend for the first time, and their shoes. And of course, the propellers are custom built MT prop, full feathering airplane propellers on this Yak 110. Really fortunate to have such great support from a company like that. And the Fat Tire Cowboys, go Cowboys.
There you go. All righty. So I am going to close out. I'm going to put you in the green room and hang tight for just 1 minute.